Good morning, everyone. As always, place your cross on first, no matter what's going on in your life. Seek God. The more you seek God, He gonna put a desire in your heart to please Him. You know, even when you don't want to, He just look out for you like that. God is so good. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be Thy name. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I feel like God wants me to read one of the wisdom books. All of it's wisdom. But Proverbs is considered a wisdom book. So I'm going to start reading from Proverbs today. First chapter of Proverbs. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment, and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. Let me just say something first in regards to the Bible. There's a lot of things you can learn, and everything ain't of God. So be careful about learning from outside books. Even if you'll see, I'm reading Proverbs, or it's in Ecclesiastes, one of them. But be careful what you read. Be careful who you get counsel from. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So if people don't fear God, they still got a long ways to go. Do you understand? A long ways to go. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. What do you mean? They despise the Lord's wisdom. My son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother. So he's telling you the law of thy mother, in this case, the Lord. Do you understand? My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. What does that mean when sinners entice you? People who do wicked things. Do not consent with them. And sometimes people give you advice that's ungodly. I remember years ago, I tell this story all the time. I was working at a place. I was married at the time. And there was a woman that worked with me. And her husband got locked up. And she was like, hey, I need somebody to lose who got so much as me to lose. And you know what that means, right? I declined because it just ain't right. It just ain't right. But you know what? Somebody probably took that bait, but I didn't. You understand? Enticement can come in so many forms. It seems easy. It's like, okay, that's legit. I can consent with that. She down, I'm down. Let's do this. But the thing is, a man void of understanding will be enticed by such things. If they say, come with us, let us wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Don't you think that's without cause? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lust of the flesh right there. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just anything. Like, hey, man, we're going to rob this people. We're going to rob this bank. You want to go? You know what I'm saying? People who want to do deceitful things, don't go with them. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast it not out among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. Do you understand? People who trying to do evil things, do not go. For their feet run to evil, and to make haste to shed innocent blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. Because you know what that is? He said, the wages of sin is death. You keep doing them things like that, you're going to end up dying or getting hurt. But there are things worse than death out there. Just let y'all know. Paralyzed. All kind of things that can be worse than death. Death is the easy way out. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy for gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Wisdom crieth without, the utter her voice in the streets. She cried in the chief place of concourse, and the opening of the gates. In the city, she uttered her words, saying, How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. You have not because you ask not. A lot of y'all ain't seeking heavenly wisdom. I can tell people this all the time. Stop getting advice from everybody. Talk to God. Pray to God about it. He'll give you the answer. But most people don't like that. You know why I say that? Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of understanding. So seek the Lord. A lot of people, when they're going through things, they want to talk to the wrong people. And if these people, first of all, if these people ain't God-fearing, you might not need to listen to them too much. You know, I'm not saying they might have some good words, but if they don't fear God like you do, you might want to take their advice and throw it out the window. Because I have called and ye refused. I have instructed out my hand, I stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But you have set at naught all my counsel, and would not none of my reproof. The Lord's talking here. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Why? Because the Lord is not your counsel. When your fear cometh as destruction, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me. But I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Because why? You didn't set God as the head of your life. You understand? He said, what the word says about, he said, I will be found of those that seek me. If you deny me, I will deny you. Does it make sense? You can deny God for too long. And then when things happen your way, he going to turn his head the other direction. For they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. That's why. That's why. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. So what God was trying to say? He's trying to correct you from the area away. Reproof, rebuke, whatever it was. Trying to set you on the right path. But they didn't stop. They kept doing the same thing. And then eventually, God just dusted his hands. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso heareth, hearkeneth unto me, shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. You see, the fear of the Lord is beginning to understand it, because you understand that God is God of all. If you fear the Lord, you have no need to fear nothing else. You have no need to fear nothing else. You see, it's kind of hard to understand, but you got to understand. You got to fear God. That'll take a lot of your fears away. God doesn't want you to be a slave to fear. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments within thee. What you mean, hide your commandments in me? Make them a part of you, so that thou incline thine ear to wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord. He's talking about it again, the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness, and judgment, and equity, yea, and every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee. You're going to be real discreet. Understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things, who lead the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness. Now think about this, people. Like, I listen to some of this music that's out right now. Oh, Lord have mercy. You can tell how dark they are. When I was young, I didn't see the darkness in it. Oh, it's just music. But you know what? People feed off that, and they keep feeding off of it. Then they start living like it. You are what you eat. Who rejoice to do evil, and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth. Who is the guide of her youth? God. And forgotten the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth to death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go into her return again, neither take thy hold of the paths of life. Let's to put it this way, people. When children are born, we know God. So why God's talking about return to me? Because everybody know God to start with, but a lot of people turn their back on them. And you got to watch out for people who turn their back on God. None that go into her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life, that thou mayest walk in the way of a good man, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressor shall be rooted out of it. Now, if you know that, that's like a foreshadowing of events. If you read Revelations, that's exactly what's going to happen. The wicked shall be cut off. There's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. People, this Bible is important to you. I didn't understand the Bible. God gave me this word, and he gave me an understanding of it, and I still don't understand all of it. That's why you read, study to show yourself approved, like the Bible says. You just don't read the Bible one time and be like, I got it figured out. I tried that before too. I read the Bible one time. When I tell y'all to be careful about other doctrine, I read the Bible one time, read it all the way through. Then I think I read it again, and then I was like, man, I need more knowledge. So I started looking outside the Bible for other knowledge. And then I started drifting. You understand? And then God brought me back. Hey, stick to this. Stick to this book right here. And I tell people that, like it's hard for me to read another book, like really get into it, because God will have me put that book down and go right back to the basics. You understand? Because it's not one day you wake up, you like, I figured it out. You never will. What's going to help you understand the word of God is the fear of God. If you don't fear God, it's a lot of things in life you ain't going to understand. You're missing the mark. I missed the mark. Think about it. He said, let's go back to what I just read. To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flatter with her words. Now, just think about anybody. He said, which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. We have all been to that. We got to that path where I'm going to live for the world. Everybody had their prodigal son moment. But what if he's saying, though, return to me? But if she don't return to him, he don't return to her, for her house inclineth to death. Any house that don't serve the Lord is going down the wrong path. And God is reached. He said, they laughed at, he said, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Why? Because you have set all and not all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. But you have set not at all my counsel, and would none of my reproofs. So God is reaching out to every soul, right? He is. But then he said, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh, as destruction, cometh as a whirlwind, when the stress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I would not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. Man, this book is great. A lot of people who do evil don't like God. You ever paid attention to that? Take the LGBT movement. God doesn't just talk about homosexuality and bestiality and pedophilia. He don't talk about just that. He talk about everything. He talk about liars. He talk about thieves. He talk about murder. He talk about adultery. He talk about worshiping other gods. He talk about everything. But it's like when people who don't want to live for God, they find the one thing that concerns them, be like, God doesn't like us. God doesn't like any wickedness. He don't. But the thing is, you know why they don't like it? Because they don't like reproof. They don't like being corrected. How can you call me Lord, Lord, and do not the things I command of you? You understand? But he said they hated reproof. Then he said, I would laugh at their calamity. Wow. You understand? Wow. Take you being a parent, right? A God-fearing parent. And you telling your kids all this stuff. I remember growing up, I was a young man, void of understanding. And I had a first love. But you know, like, then I started reading the Bible. He said, your first love. In Revelation, he talking about return to your first love. But this is my first romantic love, as far as a woman. And I loved her. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to be with her for the rest of my life. I thought this was the one. And I remember my mom was like, be careful, man. That's puppy love. I'm like, what you talking about? This is real love, mama. This is love. I'm in love with her. We're going to be together forever. I didn't listen to her. I didn't listen to what my mom said. Come to find out, she was sneaking out on me. And I was heated. And that was the first heartache I had in my life. And it kind of helped mold me to be the person I am today. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I hated instruction. You see, the heart is deceitful. Who can understand the heart? That's why God said, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. A lot of people are like, trust your heart. Trust your heart. Nope. I ain't trusting my heart. My heart done led me into some crazy places. I trust God. You know what I'm saying? If he say put not your trust in man, what's man? Aren't you a woman? I'm a man. So I can't put my trust in myself. Oh, the fear of the Lord is beginning understanding. I can't trust myself. I can't. I can trust the Lord. Why would I trust man? I'm man. You woman. You know, I got a saying though. Like, I hate to say this, but a lot of times I tell people, just trust me. Now, let me break that down. I trust God. And so when I say trust me, I'm not saying trust me. I'm saying trust that I have talked to God and he's going to work it out to the best. Now, does that mean I know what's going to happen? No. You know, it's hard to explain that to people, but I had to break it down, like, because I used to tell one person that God said don't trust nobody but him. That is true. But I trust God. You understand? I trust God. What Jesus said, I am the Son of God. Oh, ye of little faith. You understand? Oh, ye of little faith. Trust me. God tells us that all the time. Trust me. Even though, Jesus tells us that all the time. And he's not God, but he's the Son of God, but he operating his will perfectly. And that's what you're trying to get. It's like, when you say trust me to some people, it's not that you're saying trust me. You understand? If you seek God, words like they're going to come out your mouth. You understand? And it's kind of weird to break that down to people, but it is what it is. I don't want nobody to trust me. I want you to trust God. But I'm trying to get out of it. Trust God. Trust God. But if they don't believe in God, it's like, that don't even mean nothing to them. And then you'll say, trust me, they'll believe that. That's crazy. Ain't that crazy? So sometimes, you gotta, I ain't gonna say bend the rules. You know what you mean. You understand? In order to reach some, you gotta reword things a little bit. Not add to the word or take away from it. Because eventually, if you love God, you're gonna talk about him anyway. It ain't gonna stop coming out your mouth. You're gonna let them know who your help come from. Like, some people come to me for advice, and the first thing that come out of my mouth most of the time, hey man, pray about it. Call on God. You understand? I gotta let them know why I'm still here. Who sustains me? You understand? The fear of the Lord is beginning to understand. You gotta let them know from the Lord comes my help. You understand? I don't do none of this by my own hands. You think I bless myself? No. Because you know why? God said don't even worship the work of your own hands. You understand? He said rejoice in your own works. Yes. If you know you're a faithful servant, you got to rejoice in your works. But let me pause and I will continue.